Hi friends, welcome to my channel Life Admin 365 and welcome to today's video. As the name suggests, today is a cook with me video, which means I get to share with you a few meals that I prepared for my family in the past couple of weeks. Everybody wanted something different. All of us were tired of the same dal, chawal, roti, sabji routine. So I incorporated a few meals, mostly dosas, chilas, and what we Maharashtrians call amboli. Amboli is something very similar to uttapam, which is made from fermented rice and urad dal batter. It also has poha and methi seeds in it. So I think that is the main difference, and the ratios in which these are used is what makes it slightly different from dosa or uttapa batters. But I'm no expert. This is the way I'm making, so I'll be sharing with you the recipe that I've been using for these past few years to make amboli, which is also called set dosa, I think. Anyways, for breakfast, I added avocado toast to my standard cereal, milk, and pancake syrup routine. In lunches and dinners, like I mentioned earlier, I incorporated a lot of different types of dosas and chilas and amboli. And I also made a bunch of paneer dishes. I love paneer. My kids love paneer. We can eat paneer day, night, in any shape and form. I always have paneer sticking in my refrigerator at all times. You will never find my house without paneer. Anyways, when I don't know what to make, paneer comes to my rescue. So I had a couple of paneer dishes that I made. I'll be sharing one paneer recipe with you guys. And finally, I did a takeout as well. In fact, I did two takeouts just so that I could have a break from cooking and cleaning and have something different to eat. For those of you who are new here, I am Dipti. I am the one woman army behind this channel, Life Admin 365. I am new to this game of posting videos. I'm learning and figuring out how to incorporate YouTube into my day-to-day life. I'm hoping that in the coming few months, I should have things figured out, not mastered, just good enough, figured out just good enough to have a fixed posting schedule. Thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate it, and thank you for sticking around, liking my videos, encouraging me with your kind words and suggestions, and subscribing to my channel. For those of you who have not subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. It encourages me and helps me put out more content for you guys. So without further ado, let me share with you what all I made in these past 2 weeks. Avocado toasts are easy to prepare, so making them on a busy weekday morning was a no-brainer. Kept bread for toasting in a countertop toaster oven, as I could get 6 pieces of bread toasted within a few minutes. While the bread was toasting, I cut the avocado half lengthwise, used a knife to hack out the seed or the pith, and then using a spoon, scooped out the avocado meat into the bowl. Seasoned the meat with garlic powder, crushed black pepper, red chili powder, some salt, and a little bit of lemon juice, and mushed everything together. This was the topping for my toast. Spread a generous amount of avocado mush on the toasted bread and garnished it with some shredded cheese. This was a healthy and a filling breakfast for all of us. Boli are soft and spongy pancakes that are made from fermented batter of rice and urad dal. To make this recipe 2 times, I used 2 cups of short grain rice, half a cup of urad dal, 2 teaspoons of fenugreek seed, 1 cup of poha, and enough water to soak, grind, and adjust the consistency of batter, and finally added salt to taste. Traditionally, rice and dal are soaked separately and ground separately, and then the two are combined to form the batter. But for making amboli, I soak both rice and urad dal along with the fenugreek seeds or the methi seeds together. After about 8 to 10 hours of soaking and about 30 minutes before grinding, I soaked 1 cup of poha in 2 cups of hot water and transferred the soaked dal rice mixture into my blender jar. Drained out the excess water from poha, added it to the blender jar, and ground everything to form a fine batter. Transferred the batter to a large measuring cup, then added some hot water to the blender jar, blended everything to get all the remaining part of the batter and transferred it to the big jar, mixed everything thoroughly to get a uniform batter, then split the batter into two halves and kept covered and kept each of them in a draft free area for fermenting. Even after 24 hours of fermenting in a draft-free area, the batter had not risen and was not completely fermented. I kept one portion of the batter for additional 24 hours of fermentation and used one portion to make ambolis for the day. Batter was dry and flat, but I didn't want to throw it out. So I salvaged it by adding some salt and half a teaspoon of baking soda. Mixed everything thoroughly to form a uniform batter, and then by this time my electrical griddle was also heated up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I ladled a generous portion of the batter onto this hot griddle. Traditionally, amboli is made on a very well seasoned cast iron tawa or a pan, but I chose to use an electrical griddle because I could make two at a time instead of just one at a time on the cast iron pan that I have. Anyways, cooking did not take much time. As soon as the batter was ladled, within minutes, bubbles started forming on the top surface and the edges started drying up. As soon as this step was reached, I flipped the amboli on from one side to the other and repeated the same process. The second side barely took any time to cook, maybe less than a minute or so. I transferred the ambolis from the griddle to a plate and repeated the process for the remaining batter. In all, I got about 10 ambolis from this portion of the batter. Traditionally, amboli is eaten with hot and spicy coconut based liquid curries or tomato or coconut chutneys, and that's what I made today. I made masaledar black chana usal to go along with these ambolis. I added 2 tablespoons of avocado oil to a hot pot, to which I added fresh coconut, chopped onions, and mix them together. Then using a garlic press, crushed 5 large garlic cloves into the pot directly, grated 1 inch of fresh peeled ginger, and gave everything a thorough mix. Then added 1 chopped tomato, 4 chopped green chilies, 1 teaspoon of salt, handful of chopped cilantro, followed by 1 teaspoon turmeric and half a teaspoon of red chili powder. Mixed everything once more, covered and cooked on low medium heat for about 5 minutes. Then removed the cover, mixed everything once more and portioned out about half of this masala for later use. Added half a cup of water to the masala remaining in the pan and added half a cup of cooked black chana. I had previously pressure cooked and frozen black chana, and yesterday night I took it out to thaw so that I could use it today. Using the backside of the spoon, crushed the chana, then blended it coarsely with a handheld stick blender. Added the remaining black chana, a cup of water, some more salt, and homemade black masala and chopped cilantro. Simmered the usal for 3 to 4 minutes on medium heat. My fam thoroughly enjoyed this spicy usal with the fluffy ambolis and were happy with the change that I made to my meal plan. After 48 hours, the second portion of the batter was sort of fermented. I think my house is a little bit on the colder side for the batters to be fermented. So maybe I need to put it in a much warmer place or do some other technique to keep the batter warm so that it can fully ferment. Anyways, today I decided to use the batter to make uttapam instead of amboli. So I ladled the batter on the hot griddle, once again set at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, topped it with chopped onions and cilantro and salted butter. I cooked until the edges started drying out and the surface was covered with bubbles. Then flipped the uttapam, cooked for another minute or so, then removed it from the griddle onto a plate. Scraped off the crusty onion bits that were sticking to the griddle and wiped the griddle with damp towel before ladling out new batter onto the griddle. From this batter, I got about 10 uttapams. In between making uttapams, I was making my simple basic tomato chutney that I was going to serve along with the uttapam. I heated 2 tablespoons of oil in a pot. To it, I added cumin seeds, half a cup of chopped onions, sauteed this, and added 2 chopped Roma tomatoes, about 1 tablespoon of homemade red chili paste, added hing and salt to taste. Mixed everything well and cooked covered for about 2 to 3 minutes. Removed the lid, added the crushed garlic using garlic press, scraping off every bit using the knife, covered and cooked for another 2 to 3 minutes. Continued with the mashing and mixing until the tomatoes were almost pasty. Then added chopped cilantro, water, mixed some more and covered and cooked for another minute or two. Then blended using a handheld blender to form a slightly textured tomato chutney. It was not a smooth chutney, it did have a slight coarseness to its texture. Prepared tadka by heating oil, to which I added mustard seeds, hing, and curry leaves, and added this to the tomato chutney. Mixed everything well and transferred to a serving bowl and garnished it with cilantro leaves. My tadka burned a little bit because I was going back and forth between making uttapams and cleaning the small splashes from the chutney blending. Oh, my OCD once more. Anyways, everyone enjoyed the meal and were happy that I made it. I am making dhirda or chila from leftovers. By weekend, everyone wants to eat something different. There are no takers for leftovers, and I hate to throw away food, especially if it's edible, a bit stale. So I use it to make something out of it. So what do I have on hand? I have about 1 cups of tadka dal, or what we Maharashtrians call amti, which is made from cooked tur dal and has basic tadka of mustard seeds, hing, green chilies, turmeric, and curry leaves, and seasoned with salt, a little bit of good and homemade masala. Then I have 1 cup of cooked black chana usar that you recently saw how I made it, and then I have a little bit of leftover roasted Brussels sprouts. All I'm going to do is simply going to blend these in my high speed Vitamix blender and adjust the seasoning with salt, a little bit of pepper, and add enough whole wheat flour to make dosa like batter. Then I'm transferring this batter to a measuring cup, and then I'm letting it sit for good 15 to 20 minutes so that wheat flour can get hydrated. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse out my blender jar with water. That was a mistake. And you will see why I say that. Sometimes my rinsing, yeah, OCD gets the better of me. Well, I get the electric griddle ready for making these chilas, or dhirda as I call it, and realize that the batter is not of right consistency. It needs some more flour. So a mental note to myself, check the consistency before adding any additional water. So now I have to readjust the consistency with more wheat flour, and looks like this batter is really hungry. It is eating up this flour like crazy. Jokes aside, it's much easier to scoop out some batter in a separate bowl and add flour to it than add flour to the entire mixture and have lumps inside it. In the end, I use up about 4 cups of flour from start to finish. So finally I have the consistency adjusted. The griddle is hot and set at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm ready to make these bad boys. So I'm ladling out batter on the griddle and very gently spreading it around. Within minutes, top surface is starting to dry out and it's ready to be flipped. After flipping, I'm applying oil all around the chila and then pressing it around the edges and in center as well. Then flipping the next one besides it, applying oil and pressing it all around, going back and forth with pressing and flipping for both of these till they are browned on both the sides and cooked to my liking. To make 2 of these, it took about 7 minutes, and yes, I did time to see how long it would take to cook 2 or 4. When all was said and done, I was able to get 12 of these dhirdas or chilas, and they were pretty soft and pliable in the end. So it took me about an hour to start to finish, that is from blending the leftovers, readjusting the consistency of the batter, and cooking them. In that time I Probably would have made fresh rotis and sabjis from scratch, but hey, I saved the leftovers from going to waste, and everyone ended up eating something different and were happy and they liked it. So, check mark to both these reasons for choosing to make instead of letting the leftovers go to waste. We ate these with yogurt, ketchup, and tomato chutney. So I added an additional flour to readjust the consistency. I was afraid that there would be leftovers, but thankfully there were none. I really didn't want to save leftovers of leftovers. Making paneer masala literally took me only 15 minutes to make. I had masala cubes ready and I had frozen paneer cubes ready. I had prepped the paneer a couple weeks earlier, right after I did my grocery haul. I cubed the paneer and froze them. I didn't want them to be sitting in my refrigerator for a long time. Anyways, all I had to do was marry the two together for a delicious outcome. So I transferred two masala cubes to my pot, which is about 1 cup of masala, and thawed it for about 30 minutes. While that was happening, took out the frozen paneer cubes and let them thaw as well. Turned on the heat to medium and added about 1 tablespoon of ghee to the masala cubes in the pot and gave everything a good stir. To that, I added almond pulp that was left over from making almond milk. You can use cashew paste or almond flour to increase the bulk, or simply take an additional masala cube. Unlike masala cubes which are completely cooked, almond pulp is not cooked. So this needs to be cooked for about 4 to 5 minutes with constant stirring. Then I added the last of the almond milk, which was about half a cup, to bring it to a gravy like consistency. I wish I had saved some more of the almond milk, but I had already used up most of it to make my chia pudding. And then some I just simply drank on its own. Then I added paneer cubes, I think about 400 or 500 grams of which were partly thawed at this time. Mixed everything around, cooked for a minute or two, and then added 1 cup of frozen green peas directly from the freezer. I don't thaw these out, simply scoop them out from my freezer bag and add them to the pot. Gave everything a good mix once again, then added the rinsed water from the almond milk jar and mixed everything once more. Then added 1 tablespoon of chopped green chilies, 1 tablespoon of crushed kasuri methi, added salt to taste, and 1 tablespoon of garam masala, and mixed everything together and cooked for about a minute or 2 minutes max. In my opinion, cooking long times after adding garam masala not only takes the fragrance away from the masala but also adds a bit of bitterness to the curries. Anyways, just before turning off the heat, I added chopped cilantro, gave everything a thorough mix, and turned off the heat. Paneer masala was ready. I served it with hot butter roti and it was gone in a jiffy.